Confused in the way of understanding the flow of all the processes? I'm going to make it easy for you. Welcome to Learning with JD. So guys, I hope you've seen my detailed out video that talks about all the 49 processes and its mapping. But as a part of quick tip, I thought it's important that we talk about all the process groups in a brief. So let me show you it on the board. Have a look. Alright, so here is the entire flow of all the 49 processes that is important from your PMBOK 6th edition perspective and important from your examination perspective also. Let's start and let me give you a quick perspective as to how you will understand the entire part. Yeah. So you will start two process groups. There is develop project charter and there is identify the stakeholder. Develop project charter is primarily the responsibility of the sponsor, but the project manager and the sponsor may also create it in conjunction, or the sponsor may also delegate the job to the project manager. Then after you create the project charter, you have to identify the stakeholders. Who are the key stakeholders that you work with, right? So you identify the stakeholders. After identifying the stakeholder, your initiating process group ends and your planning process group begins. Within the planning process group, the key and the center of the entire planning is the integration part. The develop project management plan is the part of the integration knowledge area. Now all the other components, all the other different processes will combine together and be part of the integration part, which is the develop project management plan. You start with planning your scope. For every subsidiary knowledge areas that we have, we will create a plan dash management, which is plan scope management, plan cost management, plan schedule management. So now we are starting with scope. So plan scope management, you will first manage, you're going to first plan how you're going to manage your scope. Then you're going to collect the requirement. After collecting the requirement, you will define the scope as to what your entire scope is all about. And you're going to create WBS. Now once you create the WBS, your entire scope is at a level where a person or a team can manage it. Moving forward from the scope, you directly jump to schedule. In schedule, you will obviously plan schedule management. From your plan schedule management, you're going to define your activities. Now this defined activity is going to be further down of the WBS. You're going to further create smaller activities for the team to manage well. After defining the activities, you are going to sequence the activities, because you will obviously not know which activity needs to be done first and which needs to be done later. So you will sequence. Now please try to understand this very clearly and from a very layman language perspective, that you are doing your project. You have defined your scope, you have defined your activities, you have sequenced the activity. Now for each activity, how much time that each activity will take is something what is known as estimate activity duration. Now this is a different document that creates under the planning process. Now estimate activity duration gives you how much time each activity will take. After that, you will develop your schedule. Basis that you will develop your schedule. You now know your project of this scope will take 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever. Yeah. After the scheduling, you will jump to the cost component, because you obviously need to know how much will be the cost of the project. So when you move into the cost component, you will say plan cost management. Your plan cost management is nothing but the document, it's a subsidiary document of the project management plan, which will tell you that how are you going to manage your cost. You estimate the cost. Now this estimation of the cost is again at the activity level. You remember this document that you created at the time of schedule, where you say you define your activity and you define the duration of each activity. Now you are going to put the cost of that each activity, where you are going to say estimate cost. And then you are going to determine your budget. How will you determine the budget? You will aggregate the entire cost that you've taken at the activity level. You will put some contingency reserves on that, reserves for the risk that may or may not occur, and then you will determine the budget. Okay. After determining the budget, you have to plan for your quality as to what is the level of quality of the project as well as the product. We are also talking about the product here. Yeah. So you plan your quality management. After managing the plan quality, you will then talk about the resources. Understand, your resources does not mean only human resources. This is also your physical resources. So you plan your resource management. Yeah. And you plan your resource management, and then you are going to also put resources at an activity level. Remember all these activities that you are working on? Now you are going to put the name of the people or whatever physical resource you need for each activity. Now after doing that, you are going to plan your communication. We've put a star here, which means that planned communication is very closely related to stakeholder by engagement. Whatever engagement you will have with all the stakeholders that you have identified, the planned communication is a very closely and tightly processed group. Then after your communication, you are going to plan your procurement management. Procurement is for all the third party relationships that you have. You're going to have your planned procurement, and you're going to have your planned stakeholder expectation. Now if you see, there is a very large component that I have kept it for the last, is your risk. Yeah, you need to identify, you have to first plan for the risk as to if the risk occurs, how you are going to manage it. What is the plan for the risk? You need to identify the risk on the project, because at this point of time you know what the scope is, you know the schedule, you know the cost, you know the resources, you know the communication. So you should know what will be the known risk for your project. You will identify those risks. Then you will do two types of risk analysis on that. You may do a qualitative or you may do a quantitative risk analysis. After you do that, you plan your. After you do that, you will plan your risk responses. Risk responses means that how will you manage a particular risk? What will be your response if the risk occurs? Risk is a very unknown type of a thing. Now you may not know that if the risk will occur or not occur, right? Which is known as known unknown. That you know there is a risk, but you don't know whether it will occur or not occur. You need to plan the responses accordingly for those particular risks. Yeah. Now that's all about from the planning perspective. Now once your planning is done and everything is integrated into the developed project management plan, which gives you an output of project management plan, you will start executing of your project. So now coming to the executing part of it. So we've done initiating, now we've done planning, now we'll come to executing. Again, for executing as well, we will start from the center of it, which is the integration process. So while we talk about integration, direct and manage project work and manage project knowledge. So here we know that for a project manager, the key important aspect for a project manager is to direct the team as to how the work needs to be done and manage whether the work is being done as per the plan or no. Now that's the key important part here. Along with these two integration processes, there are 8 other processes which are important from an execution perspective. You need to acquire the team, right? The team who is going to actually work on the project. Once you acquire them, you are going to develop the team. What do you mean by developing the team? Developing the team means you manage the entire team as a whole. The whole team is taking some training. The whole team is getting some, knowledge exchange with some other team member. That is all about develop team. Then once you develop the team, you need to manage the team. Manage the team is all about one-to-one relationship. One person is fallen sick. One person is going to go on leave. That's all about managing the. Then you fall to manage your quality. Now, how do you manage your quality? Whatever is mentioned in the planning process group is what you have to ensure that it is getting implemented at this stage. That is what is known as manage quality. Then you also have to manage the communication. You have to manage your stakeholder engagement. All this is going to happen at the time of execution when the work is actually happening. Then you have to implement the risk responses. At the time of planning, there were certain risks that you had planned for, you had mentioned in the plan risk response. Now you have to ensure that whatever was planned, you are now going to implement it. Yeah. Then you have to conduct your procurement. All the third party relationships that you are going to plan at the planning stage, here is the time when you are actually going to conduct those procurements. Yeah. So that is something from the execution perspective. From an execution, so we've done initiating, we've done planning, we've done execution. Now let's jump to monitoring and controlling. So from monitoring and controlling perspective, we again start from the integration part, which is right in the center. Monitor and control the project work. Now the way you are ensuring during execution in terms of direct and managed project work, here you have to ensure, monitor and control project work. Another aspect of integration is the perform integrated change control, PICC. PICC ensures that all the changes to your project goes through this process group. I've put a star here, which means it's very important from your examination perspective that PICC is the process which ensures all the changes are implemented on your project. So along the integration process of monitor and control project work and PICC, there are all the other stuff that will happen. Now, what is the first thing that you will do when you want to monitor on your project? You will validate the scope. Whatever scope you had planned, whatever schedule you had planned, whatever cost you had planned, and whatever you executed, monitoring and controlling phase ensures that you validate all of them. So you validate the scope. Once you validate the scope with the planning and the executing, you will control all the other subsidiary plans. You will control scope, you will control your schedule, you will control your cost. You have to ensure that your scope and schedule and cost is within the timeline and within the cost and within the scope, whatever was finalized at the time of planning. Similarly, you also have to control your quality. Right? Whatever you have managed here, you are going to control here. You are going to control your resources, your human resource as well as physical resources. You monitor your communication, whichever person is responsible or whichever person is to get a report. This process helps you monitor your communication. You monitor your risk. You plan for some risk responses. You implemented your risk response. Here is where you monitor them. And then you control your procurement, you monitor your stakeholder engagement. So these are the processes from a monitoring and controlling perspective. After you monitor and control, after all the processes are closed and all the documentation is closed, only after that the project manager will move towards closing process group. Closing process group has only one process, which is a part of integration. Obviously, because integration gets all the elements together, which is close project or phase. Now, close project or phase is a process under which the project manager will write down all the lessons learned, ensure all the third party payouts have been made, ensure all the documents have been closed. It cannot happen that any of the document is open and the project manager do closure. No, it cannot happen. All the documentation has to get closed. And only after that the closed project or phase process can be implemented. So guys, that is it from mine for today's session. I think all these 49 processes is the crux of your PMBOK, the 6th edition. Please ensure that you understand the entire flow like this. At home, take a chart paper, create this entire flow and stick it around the location where you are the most, whether it's your living room or your bedroom. Please try and understand the flow, and it's going to help you, understand the entire project management from PMBOK perspective. Okay. So as a part of the entire process mapping, there's a video which is available. I've also put it in the description. You can view that. It gives you understanding of all the 49 processes together, right? So that's about it from mine today. Wait for the next session. Till then, keep connecting, keep studying. All the best.